Hello guys, MikuChibi here, welcome back to another Sword Art the Factor, and today it is a special day because today it is Koharu's birthday, so happy birthday to Koharu, and of course we can have a look at her birthday banner which came out today. So, short about the banner itself, it is a birthday banner with 3 steps. Step 1 you have 50% off, step 2 regular price, and step 3 a guaranteed random Koharu skill. And you can see you have 1.3% drop rate for a new Koharu skill and 2% drop rate for a new Koharu skill, which are referring to these two. We have 2 new burst skill and both of them are dagger skill. The first one is a chain and second one is a full burst. Angel-like partner Koharu is a slash dark dagger skill, and time for a challenge Koharu used the normal dagger skill. So if you have not seen the live stream, they revealed this skill and it is a non-elemental dagger skill. It is the first time they release a non-elemental full burst dagger skill. This is the first time. We have never seen this before and we might see something similar in the future. We'll see. This banner is available till the 4th of March, so you have roughly 9 days on you to decide if you want to summon or not. And the first skill we're gonna have a look at is Angel-like partner Koharu. It's dagger skill with shadow converge skill animation, 26 SP, slash and dart, 40-second cooltime, 46 switch gate, and 24 break gauge. Really sad about that. I wish that increased more switch gate and break gauge because many of the dagger skill doesn't have a really high switch gate, so I really wish they increased that, especially when you are using a chain skill. Damage, 2170% damage in a target. Dark pile buff, dark element damage 1% per stack, 3 stack for 20 seconds, and if you're using a switch you'll gain 9 stack instead of 3. Really good support skill, especially if you're building a dark set where you're stacking dark element, very nice to have. And if you activate in the chain, you are gaining 50% dark element damage when using dark skill and 1000 attack while the buff to raise dark element damage in effect. Really good support skill, really nice, and something you really want to have if you are building a dark dagger build. Next one, time for a challenge Koharu. If you look normally, it's a dagger skill with rabbit scratch skill animation, 35 SP, slash element, 80-second cooltime, 88 switch gate, and 44 break gauge. That is not bad. 2200% damage a hit single target, weak slash 4 debuff slash element weakness damage plus 25% for 8 seconds, and Dyna pile buff non-element damage plus 0.5% per stack, 5 stack for 20 seconds. Very nice buff and debuff. And if you want to maximize this one, you will get up to 49.5% non-element damage, which is pretty good. And if you want to activate the burst, you need to do earth slash wind. If you max limit break the skill, you are removing this sequence here and only need to do earth slash, which is much easier. And you also gain 88 break gauge, 36 skill cooldown, that is pretty high. When you activate burst, you will dealing 5260% damage a hitting a target. You have 3 bonus, attack plus 1000 against enemy with the blunt element, basically enemy that is weak to slash. Increase attack against enemy with status element, poison, burn, bleed, frostbite, 1% for every stack. This bonus here is really good if you're able to apply all 4 elements on a boss. If you're able to max all elements stack, that means you are getting 99% attack times 4. That is 396% attack. That is a lot. But when it comes to endgame, there are some endgame bosses that have some element resistance. For example, Floor 69, if I remember now, I haven't found that boss for longest. I believe it has poison resistance, bleed resistance, or was it burn resistant and bleed resistant, something like that. It has 2 resistant, element resistant. So if you're using this full burst here on Floor 69, you are only able to get 99 times 2 attack instead of 4. This one can be really good in UG where you are able to apply 4 elements. So in any slash content where you are allowed to apply all 4 elements, this one gonna shine the most. And if you're wondering which one is better, Marisara, Yuki, or Koharu, it really depends what skill you are able to support. If you have really good support skill and a passive for Yuki, then Yuki might be outperform Koharu, but if you have a really good setup for Koharu, then Koharu might outperform Yuki. So it really depends. Third bonus, non-element damage plus 1% when equipping 2 or more silicate skill in the same set. That should be really easy because silicate skill has many dagger skill and some really good pass skill, so that should be really easy. And you can activate without using SP. That is really good. So overall, better skill, really good support skill, and a really good damage dagger skill. Definitely something you really want in your dagger set if you are making dagger. Time for challenge. Koharu is a sword skill with high damage multiplier increase after limb breaking. Okay, that's why it has high multiplier. Alright. So if you look in the rate, you have 0.049% chance to get a Koharu skill. Step 2, you have 0.65% chance for the future red and 0.033% chance to get the random Koharu skill. And step 3, you have 50% chance to get future red and 0.6% chance to get any other Koharu skill. Yes. So let's have a look on other Koharu skill. Koharu, she has mainly a lot of different weapons that can be really useful. Dagger, mace, axe, rapier, and even spear. So she has many different weapons that can be useful, and you can see here I have chain, full burst, connect, axle, mod, awakening, bird, support, fodder, passive, ring, limited skill, free skill, and some skill that I think are not that best at the moment nowadays. So there are many different skill type there are for Koharu, and the skills I have put here are basically those I think that are good, decent, and somewhat can be useful somewhere in different scenario. So that's why I put them here. There are some debatable for mod skill and awakening. There are some awakening skills that are easily replaceable. Same for mod skill. Nowadays, mod skill is like meh. You don't really need them. If you have full burst, you prefer using full burst than using a mod skill. For chain, we have 2 at the moment, but with Koharu's birthday, we're gonna have 3. We're gonna look into 2 chain here. One is poison stack and blaze stack, which is really good. Definitely a really good support if you are playing around stacking. Then we have a maze chain skill that is buffing earth stacking. So if you are building an earth maze DPS, then having a support skill that is stacking earth element damage is really good to have. When it comes to full burst, they are really good, really useful, and really good as well. Definitely something you really want in a dagger set. We have the 6th anniversary full burst Koharu, which is dark and slash, really good for floor 69 if you want to use as DPS. But keep in mind, sword has better scaling when it comes to full burst. Then we have water full burst dagger, which can be really useful in any slash water content. We have 2 full burst maze. One is focused on dark, really nice for maze DPS. And then we have a full burst maze DPS for blunt fire content, really nice as well. And lastly, we have a holy spear full burst Koharu, which can be really useful on floor 17 if you're fighting the dragon there and you are using a spear DPS. Next, we have 3 connect skills that I think are really useful. One is Dagger Connect. This one has a muscle build buff, which you're stacking attack buff, really nice. And also each chain skill is giving element stack, so that is something you really want to have. Then we have a support maze skill that is giving you SP back, really nice to have. Then we have Rapier Connect that is reducing skill cooldown, which is really nice. Every single Rapier skill with cooldown reduction in their Connect skill is really good. Next, we have Axe skill. This is mostly for support. First thing we have is a debuff, muscle atrophy, which can be really useful, for example, GOG, where the boss is dealing a lot of damage, or even party if you're tanking or using a support dagger build. This one can be really useful. Then we have 3 buffer. One is buffing dark stacking, one is buffing water stacking, and one is buffing wind stacking. And this is a bow axe skill, so they are really good support skill and also give more switch gate, really nice. For mod skill, they are decent, you can still use them, but if you have a full burst, you prefer using that instead of a mod skill, because full burst has higher multiplier, which means they can out damage mod pretty easily. And also full burst doesn't require to unlock the mod slot, they already have the bonus inside them. Meanwhile, for mod skill, you need to unlock their 2nd and 1st slot, which take time to grind as well, especially if you're really unlucky. It takes really long to grind up. Meanwhile, full burst, you already have everything ready. So nowadays mod skill is like, all right. Dagger, we have 3 dagger. One is earth, one is wind, I believe, good, and one holy, really good. Then we have 1 axe skill, blunt the dark, can be somewhat useful. We have 4 mace skill if you want to build DPS. And then lastly, we have a bow skill, frost and water, really useful for floor 31. Awakening skill, this awakening skill is not for damage but more for utility support skill. For example, we have Brilliance Koharu, really old skill, but still really useful. This one gives you a death mark, which gives you 1.5 damage, which is really useful for your team. Can be useful for GOG as well, and also slash weakening damage. really nice to have. Regular courage, really nice buff for bow. You definitely really want regular courage for your bow build. Another support skill for 1.1 damage and also increasing break gauge. 2 mace skill can be somewhat really useful if you want to have that. Really good buff as well. 2 really nice supports mace skill. Then we have Koharu Spear support skill that is have really good break gauge, which means you are able to break the boss really fast. To have definitely something you really want. Then the 3 last is Dagger support that I consider like you can put them in trash tier if you want to. Then again, if you don't have the auto skill that are much better than this, you can still use them, so they are fine. Burst skill, Koharu have many burst skill, but there are only 3 skill that I consider are really good. Holy Burst Spear, really nice to have, really good as well for DPS. Next, I believe this is from her last year, I believe. Is it from last year? If it is from last year, it's still really good. A Holy Rapier Burst skill, really nice for floor 17. This one from last year, GGO, real nice, can be really useful for floor 19, the current late game boss. If you don't have Mother Rosaria Asuna, you can use this one for alternative. It still can perform pretty well. Support skill, we only have one, and this is an old school back in 2018. Really useful and can give it Koharu. This one is applying mark without being on switch. Fodders, we have some skill that you can use as fodder if you want to. We have for situational where you want to D-stack. This one is a D-stack for spear. This one is for D-stack for bow. Then we have dagger, kind of flexible dagger if you are playing with mod dagger. So this one is kind of flexible, you can use it anywhere. Even though it's a mod skill, I still consider it as a mod fodder for now. Then we have another dagger, 1 slot if you are building water. Pretty nice for 1 slot. Next we have rapier skill. We have 3 rapier skill that is really good for mod fodder. 3% wind element damage, really nice to have. 800 flat attack and also very crit damage. Really good if you have a crit rate mod fodder. Then we have this one. If you have this one and combining with this one, this is a 300% crit rate, really good, really nice as well. Then we have mod fodder for mace, really nice as well. 1 slot, really good for mod skill. And then we have the 2 slot mace, really good as well. For passive, she has many different passive that can be really useful and also really good as well. For example, these 2 here, these 2 are advanced trooper, and this is required to be on specific build. If you can utilize the effect, they can be really good. And then we have 2 power rise. One is focused on dark, specific for dark build, and then the other one is specific for water build, really strong as well. Then we have advanced trooper 5 that gives you 500 flat attack and also secondary effect. This one, I am considering this trash tier, but you still can use it for different scenario, I would say. For example, if you are building a build that is required to have max HP and also focus on wind, that can be really useful and gives you extra switch gain, so it has somewhat usefulness. This one is something a lot of rapier main really wants. King of Rapier that gives you a flat 1000 attack, really nice to have, and also more attack if you have frostbite on the enemy. Power Rise 4 is something if you really want to have on the access skill. Then we have 3 full burst pass skill that is somewhat useful if you want to use that, utilize it. For ring, we have bleed resistant, I believe, either bleed or poison, I don't remember, but 3%, really nice to have. You can equip it on the ring. We have 3 limit skill, which we don't really need to talk about, but they are really good, to be honest. Then we have some free skill, and then we had a trash skill. So yeah. So that was all Koharu skill that I want to talk about. So you have many options to get many good ones. And if you want to collect Koharu skill, you have many skills that you can collect. So yeah, that was all the Koharu skill. Now the question is this banner worth to summon on? Well, it depends on your account, what you have, what you need. For example, if you are mainly dagger, then this banner definitely worth it. Trying to get the new burst skill and a new chain skill is definitely something you really want. And if you look on other skill, Koharu have a lot of other stuff that you can utilize, a lot of dagger skill that hopefully you can get. For new players, if you are interested in playing around dagger, this banner is definitely worth someone on because this full burst is really good. This support dagger is really good as well. And other dagger skill that you can get, or any other passive skill, any other skill that you can get from Koharu are really decent to play around. So it is definitely really worth it if you are interested in dagger. If you're not interested in Koharu or dagger, then you can pretty much skip this banner and save. Any Koharu fans that really like Koharu, definitely worth it. Go ahead, all these Koharu skills is definitely worth summon on. Rerollers, this might be a debatable if you want to reroll for this full burst Koharu. The only thing that might be issue is that you need to have 2 silica skill. If you don't get any silica skill, then you have to equip something bad one, random silica skill is fine. But then also you need to somehow apply elements. If you're only able to apply one element, that is fine, but you have to keep it up, you have to maintain it, which can be really hard. So I will say rerolers, I do not really recommend rerolling for this full burst, not really worth it. I think sword full burst is more worth to reroll because they don't really require to have some specific element to be able to get more damage dealing or dealing more damage, something like that. Full burst, you only need more defense, that's it, and you are good to go. So I don't think rerolling for this full burst is not really worth it. Now for the rest, for those that already have a really good sword set, for example, you have already Marusara Yuki and SPS or something similar, I don't think you really need to pull on Koharu. It looks really good, but it's kind of bait at the same time. So if you already have a really good sword build or sword set, you can pretty much skip this Koharu. I don't see any reason why you want this Koharu unless you want to try out Dagger, that is fine. But if you're farming a slash weakness boss content and you have a really good sword set, then you don't really need to spend your Arcana Gems on this banner. You don't really need the Koharu skill. You can pretty much skip and save your Arcana Gems and focus on something else. If you're like me that doesn't have any full burst sword, just like any slash build, I would consider this one really worth it if you want to play Dagger. If you don't really want to play Dagger, skip. But if you're interested in playing Dagger and you don't have any full burst sword and or any decent sword build, then I would consider pulling this banner. Otherwise, save and wait for when they are releasing. For example, maybe Alice and Juju, maybe they will have full burst skill, who knows? So it is really depend what you have, what you need, and if you're interested in playing Dagger. So TLDR, if you're interested in playing Dagger and you don't have a really good sword build, then definitely worth to summon on. Otherwise, if you have already a really good sword build, then you can skip this banner, save your Arcana Gems. If you're interested in Koharu skills, collecting them, definitely worth to summon on. If you're rerolling, skip. New players, if you're interested in playing Dagger, definitely worth it. If you're not interested in Dagger, you can pretty much skip. So yeah, that's for me. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Take care and bye bye.